We'll see what is a class in Java. Okay, for that we'll take an example of phone, the mobile phone as we saw that. So in this phone, you were successful enough to give me the variables. Okay. So when I say variable, you said as properties, right? We said as properties. Okay. Or otherwise, okay. Otherwise, I can say states. Okay. Otherwise, we can say states. State of the object. Okay. State of an object. Here, the object I have considered, the real object I have considered is say phone. So I say the variable as the properties or the state of an object, or as we termed earlier, the look and feel of it or the attributes of it. I call as variables in Java. We have already seen. Okay, fine. Now we come into the actions of it. Okay, actions. So what are the actions? Okay, that I could. Thank you. Yes, Sneha, that is the data or the information. Good. Okay, so maybe I'll copy that and put it here also. Okay, or the data and the information that I give is what is this one. Okay. Second one, what is all that I can do with my mobile phone? What is all that I can do with the mobile phone? Yeah, I can make calls. Okay, I can make calls. Good. Then, okay, I can, post a message. I can post a message. Good. I can take pictures. Okay, then I can play games with that. Okay, then யாருமே ஷாப்பிங்லாம் பண்ண மாட்டீங்களா? Very bad, guys. ஷாப்பிங்லாம் யாரும் பண்ண மாட்டீங்களா? Okay, you can change. Attend class. Vinod, you attending class through mobile, Vinod? Laptop இல்லையா? Okay, okay. You can shop. Okay, Big Billion Day வேற வந்துருச்சு. பாத்தீங்களா? கிஷோர் is so much aware of it. நானும் கிளாஸ் முடிச்சுட்டு முதல்ல அங்கே தான் போகணும். பிக் பில்லியன் டேல போய் ஏதாவது கிடைக்குதான்னு பார்க்கணும். ஓகே ஃபைன். ஸோ ப்ளே கேம்ஸ். ஓகே, வேலைக்கு போய் பண்ணணுமா? பண்ணிடலாம் குணசேகர். பண்ணிட்டீங்களா? நல்லா ஒரு வேலைக்கு போய் காஸ்ட்லியாக ஒரு மொபைல் வாங்கி ஒரு ஷாப்பிங் பண்ணிடுவோம். ஓகே fine. Say I can watch videos. I can do lot and do. Okay, I can pay bills with that. Okay, I have a lot of options. No money, no shopping. Don't worry, we'll do shopping. கொஞ்ச நாள் தான், 2 மாசம் வெயிட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. அப்புறம் நல்ல ஜாப், நல்ல ஷாப்பிங், ஹாப்பியா இருக்கலாம். Okay, fine. So here what I wanted to say is we can do some actions, okay, with any object, whatever you take. If I take car, I can drive a car. Okay, if I take a dog, the pet animal, it can bark, it can, watch for us. So any object that I take in a real world, it is going to do some actions for us. We can do something with that. Okay, so all the actions, okay, all the actions done by the object, all these things, I'm going to represent it as a method in Java. Okay, I'm going to write as a method, or otherwise few say those are functions, few say as functions. Okay, but let us not use this term. Let us cling on only to method. So this is what generally I'll represent as method in Java. Got it? So I actually have, when you look into two main components of a class or the members of a class, I could say one main thing is the variable or the data, which is very much important because without data, I'll not be able to do anything. And the second most important member of your class, if I take it as your method, because that is going to say what am I going to do with that particular object, or what that object is particularly going to do for me. Whatever it is, what is the action performed by that particular object. So these two are very, very important. So this is state. Otherwise, I call this as a behavior. Okay. So when I say, okay, when you browse for the definition of an object, okay, it says any object has a state and behavior. Okay, this you can find it in many sites. Any object has a state and behavior. Okay, Okay, Indra, what I wanted to say is any object that you take into consideration, I take my mobile phone, okay, I take, I take a remote control, whatever uh, it is going to have some properties for it. Also, it is going to make some actions for me. So, phone and edutitona, you knew what are all the properties we saw, color of it, is it a touch screen, what is the size of it, whatever it is. Actions அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது I can make calls with that particular phone. I can post message for it. I can take pic. These all I can do. What that can do for me, I can make a bill. I mean, I can pay a bill for it. Okay, whatever it is. So, what is a variable? Meenakshi, விடிய விடிய கதையை கேட்டு சீதைக்கு ராமன் சித்தப்பாவான்னு கேட்ட மாதிரி ஆயிப்போச்சு மீனாட்சி. வேரியபிள் நம்ம இங்கேயே பார்த்தோம்லப்பா. எங்க பார்த்தோம் பாருங்க வேரியபிள். இங்க பார்த்தோம். முதல்ல பார்த்தோம். மறந்துட்டீங்களாப்பா அதுக்குள்ளால? 6:20 ஆயிடுச்சா? வடிவேலு கதையாயிடுச்சா? பிஃபோர் 6 o'clock அண்ட் ஆஃப்டர் 6 o'clock. 6 மணிக்கு முன்னாடி அப்படி, 6 மணிக்கு அப்புறம் இப்படின்ற மாதிரி. ஓகே. இதெல்லாம் தான் variables. You remember the look and feel of it. Data, properties of that I'm going to represent as variables. ஓகே, இதுதான் வந்து வேரியபிளா நான் ரெப்ரசன்ட் பண்றேன். என்னோட டேட்டா இருக்கு. இந்த டேட்டாவெல்லாம் நான் எப்படி, how am I going to present these data? Using this variable is what I'm going to present. Or how am I going to use this data in my program? Using the variable, I'll be using the data. Okay, வா மீனாட்சி? ஏதாவது உங்களை ஹர்ட் பண்ணிட்டேனா? இல்லைல்ல? Storing the value. Okay, fine. நான் சும்மா தான் சொன்னேன். Okay, fine. So this is what is variable and method is what the actions that we do. So in Java, how am I representing this whole object? In Java, I'm representing the object using variable and also using the method. Meaning to say, I also include the data and also the actions that it does for me. So this is what is a combination of variable and method. Okay, so I just wanted to, make something clear. In all the browsers and all the websites, most of the websites you go ask a definition, what is an object? They give a explanation using these two words. Any object has a state and a behavior. Meaning to say any object has a property and also any object is able to do many actions with that. This is what a state and behavior. Okay, so it is with the state and behavior where we are going to, play with the objects in the Java. Okay, so getting into this object. Okay, now let me say class. Getting into class and give a definition. Class, it says, many say blueprint for an object. Okay, I'll open you an Excel sheet here. August batch. Yeah, I think it should be this. Yeah, this one. Okay, just take a look at it. Be careful. Do not get into this one now. Don't look into these things. Just look into this one first. Okay, so we have already seen mobile order properties and all the actions with respect to the property. Property is what I'm stating as variables and actions is what I'm stating as a methods. So this one we have seen. Okay, in this program we used values. I'll close all. We have a lot to do. So in this program, if you see, you have the values. Size is equal to 14.5, shape is equal to rectangle. Why I assigned those values is I just wanted to make you print it. Okay, so don't mind, okay, don't mind all these values assigned. Get back with a fresh mind here. We have lot of variables, lot of actions to be done with that particular object. So now consider, I'm going to now classify this as a particular class. This whole collection of data and action, I'm going to categorize this as a class. Okay, now I say it as a class. What am I going to relate the class with an object. For example, we know screen size is an attribute of a mobile. Cost is also an attribute of a mobile. Any mobile is going to have its logo. Any mobile, it is going to amps in the current distribution. Any mobile, I'm going to have a number for it. For any mobile, I can say if it a touch screen or not. For any mobile, it is going to have a brand name. So in common, what are all the common attributes or properties of an object? I collect it and keep it in one place. Okay, any common action that could be done by that particular object, I collect it and keep it in one place. So this place is what I call as a class, or to say this is, like a blank template. When I just open a class, it is just a blank template I have. Now, Samsung wants to, fill up all these attributes for himself. Apple again wants to do the same. Now, Samsung, what it is, it owns this class for itself now, and now it defines, come on, I'm going to use your template, or I'm going to make use of all the properties you have given it. Screen size, let me fix it to 12. Cost, let me fix it to 50,000. Logo, all it has some value. Now another guy comes in an Apple. He says, me too, let me have the same attributes for myself. I'll use your class. I'll use this class. And what he does is screen size. Again, he gives his own value, 10, 60,000, yay. All is all his value he gives. Okay. So this is now a class. This is going to act as a blueprint for this Samsung and for this Apple. Okay. So this is what is the statement says. Class is a blueprint for the object. Got it? Okay. I can do it for Redmi, Vivo, or whoever it is. So, one class one copy of the class is enough. Whoever wishes to own that class, they can own that class and they can give their own values to it. Okay. So, many of it, many of the people, they reframe as this one. This is wrong. Class is a blueprint of the object kadayadu. It is not a blueprint of the object. It is a blueprint for the object. Object is going to make use of the class. Okay. Fine. This is so much important for preposition, grammar, English grammar. இந்த டீச்சர் அம்மா இங்கிலீஷ் எடுக்கிறாங்க மேக்ஸ் எடுக்கிறாங்க என்னத்த செய்யறது okay fine so this is what is class. I mean do you get a better idea of what a class is and what an object is? What a class is, object is, yeah. Okay, fine. So this is what I'm going to, represent it as a small program. Okay. New class, learn class and methods. I'll just give a brief introduction on it. Okay. Brief introduction alone I'll get. Okay. Maybe with your permission, can I take 10 minutes of yours? Can I extend a 10 minute? Yeah. Just in depth ponuna, it will require more than 45 minutes. I'm not going in depth. I'll give a good glimpse on it and I'll just stop it. We'll start tomorrow. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay, learn class and methods. Now what I'm going to do is, if you had observed, thank you. Thank you. So if you have observed, I am not having main here. Main program include Panala. It is purposefully for a reason I am not including main here. I'm just having only class. Look, only the classes here without a main. Now I'm going to start defining all the variables. Okay. So for us to save the time, what we'll do is we'll take the same from here. Okay. Because it was the same, I'll take the same variables from here and put the variables. Now we are done with the variables. And what I'll do is let me take out all the values because I'm going to explain you with respect to different objects. I'll take off all the values. Okay. Okay. We have taken all the values. Okay. Or maybe we'll have one common variable, say string. String. Object category as equal to Chuma for a demo. Okay, fine. So we are done with the variables. Now that I have to use the methods. Okay, because I said, right, class is a combination of state and behavior. That we are done with the state. Okay, now we have to define the behavior. So how am I going to define the behavior of it? Okay, how am I going to define the behavior? So okay, look at this carefully. We will use this one. Make calls, pay money, view gallery. Any of the two we'll use now for this one. Make calls. Make calls. Look at the shortcut here. I just typed the name of the method. I didn't put any braces there. Just type, put control space and press enter. Okay, got it? Make calls. Okay, don't use braces. Just put control space and enter. It would give you as a private method. Please don't use private method for a reason which you'll understand tomorrow. Use it as a public. Okay, change that as a public. Public void make calls. Okay, public void make calls. Tomorrow I'll keep explaining all these things. I'll just give a good glimpse of it now. What I'll do is sys out making calls. So Control Shift F, let me format it. Okay. Then let me have another method, pay or view gallery. View gallery. Control space, then enter. And I'll change this to be a public method. So I'll take out this sys out viewing gallery. Okay, fine. So for example, we have now few variables and few methods also. So this one is what I call as the members of the class. Variable is one member, method is another member. So now what I'm going to do is I have to access all these variables and I have to access all these methods. Okay, I said there is something available with respect to class. This Samsung has to access this class. This Apple also has to access this class. So in order to use this class, I have to create the corresponding objects and then I have to use it. Okay, I'll show here. For that, okay, to make use of the members of class, what should I do is step 1, I should have a main method. Okay, main method is mandatory if I have to use it. Now if you look, it is all outside the main, inside the class. So main, control space, enter. I now got a main method. So this is step 1. Main method is mandatory. Main method is mandatory. Okay. Step 2, what should I do for the step 2? Okay, step 2 I have to create an object. Step 2 I have to create an object. So how do I do it? We have a particular syntax of it. So I'll just say the syntax of it. Syntax is first comes your class name. Okay, then user defined object name. You can give any name, object name. Okay, is equal to, you have a new operator and again you have a class name with the open close parenthesis. This is the syntax. So what is our class name? Learn class methods is the class name. So class name. Object name is what I can give. Say maybe Samsung is what is one object. So maybe we'll put Samsung is equal to new. This is your class name. Open, close with the parenthesis, then semicolon. So this is what is the syntax of creating an object. Creating an object, or I call instantiating. Okay. Instantiating. Okay, instantiate aptina, it is nothing but creating an object. So you need to know this technical word. Okay, instantiating is creating an object. So I have instantiated, I have created an object. The object name is Samsung. Now Samsung has the whole right to access the class. Okay, similarly, Apple can also do the same to access the same class. Maybe he can give his own object name. Clear? Similarly, if a Redmi person wants, he can do it. Okay. So class is a blank. Each and every object can own it by creating its own object. Okay. So if own object. So if I say creating an object, it means it is nothing but memory is allocated. When I say instantiating an object, memory is allocated, meaning to say Samsung has created an object. It means Samsung has this particular object will have one particular memory location. Will be allotted. Apple. If I take Apple, he has created an object Apple, meaning to say this Apple is nothing but one particular separate memory location, not the same as Samsung. When I say Redmi, it means this is another particular same location. Okay. All these locations is going to point out to this class, but they are going to fill in their own values. Okay. Fill in their own values. Okay. So, and one thing that you have to know is when a class is created, the memory is not allocated. Make a note of it. When you just create a class like this, memory is never allocated. You remember we saw 32-bit, 16-bit, 1-bit, 8-bit, all we saw, right? So when I just say in a class int resolution, it is not allocating the memory to resolution. Only when I create an object, a reference is created, a reference place is created only when we do it in the through this one. So at that point is what? The memory is actually allocated. Memory is allocated only, okay, only when an object is created. Okay. Or to say memory allocation is not done when a class is created. Got it? You need to be clear about this. So class is just over a template. Object அப்படினா, it is going to fill in up the attributes and behaviors of that. So it will give a memory allocation to it. Clear with this one? Clear until this one? What is a class? What is a, so I can make multiple copies of a class. Inno solla ponom appadina, for example, you know, a biscuit mold. We have a biscuit mold or a cake mold. Cake mold is only one cake mold, right? But I'll be able to make different cakes. I can make a strawberry cake, blueberry cake, apple cake, whatever it is. Butterscotch cake. In the cake venal I can do. But the mold is only one. Similarly, the class is only one. But any object who really wants to use it, he can use a multiple copies of a class with their own specifications. Okay, fine. So now I'll just say how it is done. Whenever I have to access it, I have to put Samsung dot. I have to use the object name. Object name dot. When I give dot, you can see all the variables with respect to the class and all the methods will also be listed. Brand name. Brand name, I'm going to assign the brand name. Brand name is, it is a Carlia. Brand name Cara is Car. So I'll put S. Okay. Similarly, here, if the Apple wants to give his brand name, Apple dot brand name is equal to say A. Okay, similarly, this guy also. So each object has its own memory location. They have their own rights to do it. So he is not going to disturb this person. In a different memory location. Samsung in its summary memory location. Apple is in some other memory location. So again, Samsung dot cost of the mobile is equal to say cost mobile cost we limited la to byte. Where is that? Cost mobile is short. We had put it to short, so we have to limit the value within that 32,000. And Apple again can do the same. Cost mobile. Okay, so maybe we'll put as 31,000. So similarly, the members can be accessed through the objects. Okay, members of the class can be accessed through the objects. This is what. Okay, how do I do it for the method? How do I do it for the method? What is the method? We had make calls. So if I put make calls, we have make calls. Similarly, Samsung dot, what is that other one? View gallery. Samsung dot view gallery. Okay. So I wanted to say here that the data or the members of a class can be accessed only through objects. You can do it only after instantiating the object. Okay, so Apple dot make calls. Similarly, Apple dot view gallery. Got it? We'll take it off. So we'll just execute it and see here. We'll put a printout statement. Okay, we'll print this and see here. Samsung brand. Oh, what happened? Here. Samsung brand. Similarly, we'll put here Samsung order cost mobile. Cost of Samsung. Okay, bear with a spelling mistake. Parvala. Apple. Apple. So here you'll be doing with the Apple. That's all. Okay. Okay. You've got 2 brackets of that particular method. Thank you. Okay, fine. Thank you. So now I'm going to execute it. Control F11. I'm going to end it. This is last. Look at the console here. Okay. So Samsung brand is Samsung cost we have printed. Okay, these are the variables, and this make calls and view gallery of the Samsung is what the making calls and viewing gallery. So Samsung with its object, it can access the class. Apple with its object, it can access the class. Okay, so this is the essence of class, methods, variables, and objects. This is a relation. Got the relation between what is class, method, and object now? Okay. So ஒரு class எடுத்துட்டா important members வந்து variables and the methods. Variables are nothing but the properties. Methods are nothing but the actions that it can do for us. So how can we access it? How can we access the members of the class? I can access the members of the class by creating an object for that class. Okay. And please by heart this. நாளைக்கு வந்து chatல வந்து I'll ask you to put all these. Maybe we'll have a short QA for the first 10 minutes tomorrow. Okay. At that time, you can recall what we have learned today and you can post it on the chat tomorrow.